He texted and said, "We're done with dinner. I'll be home soon." Come 11 o'clock, he wasn't home. I texted his friend and said, "Do you know where he is?" His friend said, "No, he left at, 10:35.
I knew then I needed to go looking for him. I saw a bunch of police tape and a bunch of sirens. There was my son's car smashed up against a tree.
Some of his older friends, they were graduating, and he really wanted to attend that. And so we had spent the day together. I had been bribing him with Starbucks to hang out with me throughout the day. And we just had a great day. And so we came home just in time for him to get ready to run out. And he comes running down and he's like, "Bye, Mom, I'll see you later." And he was out the door.
And he was going to go out to dinner with a friend and then to come home. And we were waiting for him to come home. My wife, Lee Ellen, was texting with him, and all signs are pointing to him coming home.
So I expected him home at 11. And around 11:15, I tried calling him. I couldn't reach him. And I was getting worried because I knew he wouldn't push it.
And she begins to worry more and more, and then I begin to worry.
By 11:45, I was complete panic.
And so I got in the car and started trying to retrace the path that he would be coming home.
And Carlos and I are on the phone, and we're, calling each other back and forth. And, my heart's racing, and I'm just, you feel the adrenaline, just the shaking.
I almost got to the end of the route in terms of the friend's house he had left from. It was there that I saw a bunch of police tape and a bunch of sirens. There was my son's car smashed up, against a tree.
And he said, "Honey, I see his car. There's an ambulance pulling away." And I remember us saying, "No matter what happens, we will worship. We will worship." Just giving it to God right then.
The police kind of descended upon me, and I told them that that's my son's car. I say, "Look, just tell me the hospital where he is, and I need to go see him." And he said, "Your son is deceased."
And that's when the world stopped.
And what we discovered happened was my son had been shot while he was driving. It wasn't a car accident.
It felt like an electromagnetic pulse just taking all the life out of you. I cannot believe a person can withstand that physical pain. It is physical, even though it's emotional. You would think that would have killed me. I wish it had killed. That would have been easier, just do me in.
It wasn't even anger at God, maybe. It was just a sort of profound sadness that created a barrier between, him and me, and we just had to work through that.
I did say to him, respectfully, "You're sovereign and you've hurt my feelings. You have hurt me." Because I recognize, God's in charge of this. He could have stopped this. And isn't there some other way you could have done what you needed to do without taking Mark? God just kind of bringing me back to, I have a plan. You don't have to understand it, but if you can try to submit to it, I'm going to show up for you. And I'm a very demanding child. I just come to God and I say, "You said you'd be here. I'm counting on it. I need you. If you're going to put me through this, I need you to be there with me." My friend came over and she said, "Have you seen Mark's Heaven blog?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about."
Mark had a photography website. He was a blogger. He was a writer. He was a lot of things. But we went on to Mark's website, and there was a post on heaven. It was about 45 days before Mark died.
I love the image of heaven because it's perfect, perfect peace. What a beautiful thought that one day I will be completely in the presence of God, will actually be able to feel the magnitude of all His love and peace with no earthly fears or worries to distract me. And the fact that we'll all be worshiping God together in one place forever, that amazes me. I'm sure it'll be far more incredible than I can comprehend now, and I love that. God is super good. I can't wait to be with Him forever.
And so Carlos and I we were kind of like crazy people. We ran into his room and we're tearing it up, looking for every journal we can find. We've lost him, but maybe we can find parts of him in his journals.
We realized, oh my gosh, here is a window into Mark's soul. Mark was not special as much as he was surrendered. It was his wholehearted embracing of God's plan, of who God is, that transformed his life.
So we sat in his room, just weeping with his piles of journals and just read and read and read.
All of a sudden, things started to come into focus in terms of moving from why did this happen to the plan unfolding.
What he left behind was just such an intimate documentation, history of his relationship with God. That's where the idea of a blog started for us, where we wanted to post encouragement that, Mark is still encouraging us from heaven through his journals. I wear a bracelet. It has scripture on it from Psalm 18:28, and it says, "You, O Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light." We visited the accident site shortly after the accident, and of course that was painful. There's glass everywhere, and a tree stump, had been knocked over by Mark's car, and there was a makeshift memorial. And of course, we're weeping, like this is a place where we've lost our son. And I feel him whispering to me through that psalm, "I will turn your darkness into light." And so I got this crazy idea that I wanted that stump of that tree, because that stump heard my son's last breath. So Carlos went and he got me that stump. And then I took plants and I put life on that stump and planted it all. It's now a beautiful place. And it's no longer the stump that heard Mark's last breath. It's the stump that witnessed heaven's door opening up. It's the stump that witnessed Mark stepping into the presence of God. I think the moment that happened, Mark's death, God unleashed a wave of love upon all of us, and just a determination that we will not let Satan have that night. We will not give in. And thankfully, through Mark's writings, he's shown us how. That we will choose love, that love and joy will be our weapons. We will put our energy towards that. And that certainly is gonna be a lifelong battle. We're 1 year out. I pray we can be faithful 5 years out, 10 years out. It's gonna be a long road for that.
We speak about Mark very openly and honestly, and sometimes we just say to each other, "I miss Mark."
A lot of stories, funny stories. And he wasn't perfect, so we do rag on him a little bit, and just sharing memories, talking about him. We want him to be a part of our lives forever.
God allows things he doesn't love to accomplish things that he does love. The ultimate example of that is the cross. It only comes down to one question. It's God saying, "Do you trust me?" And by God's grace, the answer is yes. Please help me, but I trust you. I believe that good can come out of this and will come out of it and is coming out of it.
It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to say why. We see the psalmist David doing that. "Where are you, God? Why have you forsaken me?" I think if we come to God respectfully with the intention of, let's work this out, I think he wants us to do that. And so what I've encouraged my kids to do is, please don't break off communication with God. Go broken. Go to him broken and trust that he's going to slowly heal you back up.